not going for more than 15 minutes. Unless we correct this, it's not going to help us, Mr. Speaker, and we cannot talk proudly of free movement of persons in the continent or having a free trade area in the continent unless we kill this mess. My plea to the two committees is that they cannot, I can see the recommendations I've given us, which are excellent and I truly support, but I would like to urge them to have a joint meeting as a committee and invite the two CSs, CS of Trade, CS of the East African Community, KRA, and Kenya, and come up with a solution once. Because the reason the Tanzanian side is good is because Kenya has joined a group of 8. When the African Free Trade Area was developed, there were countries that it was open for 8 countries to start a relationship, and that is what happened. Because Tanzania and Kenya are in that group of 8, Namanga has been perfected for that. And it's very easy to do that. I also urge the committee, Mr. Speaker, that they go to Namanga and compare the notes when they are meeting these people. We must meet the ministers and we must force them to do the right thing because they are losing more revenue that they would have collected and made us even better. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Any information from a professor cannot be verified by someone who is not a professor. But I wanted to try the resident of Namanga. Yes, Senator Tobiko Pelis. But make sure you don't contradict the good professor on our remarks.
I will be very careful not to contradict Professor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me say, as I support this motion, that, Mr. Speaker, any border posts or even any border town is the face of Kenya, you know, to foreigners who are coming in from across the border. So, Mr. Speaker, we should be careful as a nation to make sure that every border town, every border post, the border post is working, the town has a good face, has facilities that are working, infrastructure that is well maintained, Mr. Speaker, because that is the face of our country. Just the way we want when visitors alight at JKIA, they should, we are now proud that there is the express highway, they don't get into a jam, there are good hotels around the airport. Mr. Speaker, we should treat these border towns like Busia, Namanga, Taveta, you know, with that kind of seriousness, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as we talk about the Busia border posts, and I think this applies to all border posts, that it is to enhance trade, facilitation of trade, and to promote efficient movement of people and goods, Mr. Speaker. To reduce the cost, as Professor has said, of doing business in the region, and she has said the Namanga border post has fairly succeeded in reducing the kind of time spent in that border post, Mr. Speaker. But what I wanted the good professor to note is that the movement of goods may have, the time may have reduced. But if you look at the social aspects around Namanga border post, the informal traders, particularly women, have no shelters, have no sanitation facilities, which are very important. Mr. Speaker, these are the things we want. There is also disjointed agency coordination, you know, KRA, immigration, and all that. I think there should be a seamless way of these government agencies working to make it, you know, a more friendlier environment for people to operate and for traders to operate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm also a member of the Committee of Roads, Infrastructure, and Housing, Mr. Speaker, and one time we visited the Taveta Holili border post. Mr. Speaker, what we noted at the Holili border post is that there are goods that have been kept by KRA there's a storage there that KRA has kept, even vehicles, for decades, for so long, for years. And I don't know why KRA will not clear up the kind of, goods. And I think some are disputed. I think some have not been cleared. Some have court cases. And so there is a lot that is being stored at the border, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we also, at the Holili border post, we realize, whereas the Tanzanian side looks like it's operating well, the Kenyan side looked like a deserted home, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will just say that, in fact, even the sanitation on the Kenyan side, the buildings were horrible, dusty. And then the equipments that were being used were, I think time has passed that they need to be modernized, Mr. Speaker. Even to check goods, particularly foodstuffs, they use a long rod, to just whatever. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure there are better modernized ways of us, checking on having testing equipments, Mr. Speaker. The scanners at the border post, Mr. Speaker. I think these are things that are needed. Mr. Speaker, let me just say, whereas Namanga is fairly good in terms of passage of goods, a lot needs to be done to facelift that town for the sake of the Kenyan situation, Mr. Speaker. The roads, the water issue in Namanga needs to be addressed, Mr. Speaker. But particularly, as I said, the issue of...
Hebu sasa tumsikize seneta wa Kirinyaga, ugatuzi wa Kirinyaga.
Asante sana mstahiki Spika kwa kumpatia mwenyekiti wa Kiswahili kitukuzwa nafasi kuweza kuchangia katika mada ambayo iko mbele yetu siku ya leo. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza ningetaka niungane na mwenzangu Profesa Kamal, mambo ameongea kuhusu Namanga, nimepitia pale. Na ni kweli kwamba kama kuna ufanisi uko pale, kwa sababu unapopita pale unamaliziwa, unashindwa hata kwanza utaenda wapi.
Yes, Seneta wa Mombasa, Mohamed Faki.
Nimemsikia mtaalamu wa Kiswahili akisema manda, nichangie manda. Kuna mada na manda. Unasikia? Manda ni kisiwa kule Lamu ambako anatoka Seneta Githuku. Mada ni mazungumzo yaliyoko mbele ya bunge la taifa. Asante mheshimiwa.
Seneta Murango.
Asante sana mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, ni kwamba Kiswahili wanaozungumza wametoka katika maeneo tofauti. Na kwa hivyo lugha ya Kiswahili wanaochangia wako na lafudhi tofauti mstahiki Spika. Kwa hivyo ningeomba kwamba Seneta Mombasa atanuia radhi, na kwa sababu muhimu wa sabuni ni povu, tunawasiliana, anajua naongelea kuhusu nini, atanipatia hiyo nafasi. Asante sana mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, nataka niseme ya kwamba wanaoishi katika maeneo kama ya Malamba, Busia, ni kwamba kuna matatizo mengi wanaopitia. Ya kwanza ni msongamano wa magari. Na kwa hivyo ni kusema miundo msingi itaharibika tena kwa haraka kwa sababu magari ni mengi, na kwa hivyo wanapaa pia kupewa nafasi wakati barabara na miundo msingi inapotengenezwa. Unajua mstahiki Spika, zile fedha ambazo nchi inaingiza kutoka kwa hapa Malaba ni pesa nyingi sana. Na unajua ng'ombe anayekamuliwa ndo anapewa nyasi kwanza, na mwenye kisima apangi foleni ili achote maji kwenye kisima. Kwa hivyo mstahiki Spika, hiyo ingekuwa ni vizuri kama ataangaliwa zaidi. La pili mstahiki Spika, barabara nyingi ambazo zinatumika na magari pia kuna kuanga na ajali tofauti. Na kwa hivyo wakati ajali inatokea ni vizuri pia kuwe na hospitali madhubuti ya kushughulikia maneno yale. na hiyo ni kusema ya kwamba Busia ni mahali ambapo panafaa kuwa na hospitali ambayo inatibu majeraha yanayotokana na ajali za barabarani, ili wanaoishi na wanaopitia pia waweze kunufaika. Mr. Speaker, jambo lingine ni kwamba saa hii tuko katika enzi ya akili nemba, akili unde, na teknolojia imesonga mbele sana, na kwa hivyo tungeweza kutumia ile teknolojia, matatizo mengi yangekuwa yamepungua. Nimesikia nimesoma kwa ripoti kwamba kuna vitu machini nyingi pale hazifanyi kazi. Kuna vitambazo ambazo hazifanyi kazi, kwa kimombo ndo zinaitwa scanner, ili Senator Mombasa asinje akapotea katika mazungumzo ambayo wanazungumza siku ya leo. Na pia kuna msongamano wa taasisi nyingi sana za serikali zingine ambazo zimechukua tu vyumba, lakini hazina maana kubwa kuwa katika eneo lile. Kama vile kuna taasisi ya AFA, kuna taasisi ya KEBS, taasisi ya KEFIS, kuna pia taasisi zingine ziko pale. Mr. Speaker, zingeweza kuachwa taasisi kiasi ambao sitaweza kurahisisha hata wakati wenye wanakuja kuleta mizigo, upitie hata kama ni ofisi 3 peke yake, ili uweze kuvukisha mizigo yako, Mr. Speaker. Lakini kwa sasa unapoenda na makaratasi mpaka umbebe file, kwa sababu kuna hata madaktari wa ng'ombe ambao wanakaa kwa mipaka na sijui anahusika vipi kwa yule mtu ambaye anajaribu kuvukisha mahindi. Mr. Speaker, na ya mwisho ningesema kwamba usalama katika maeneo yale yanafaa pia yaangaliwe sana sana, kwa kutengeneza barabara ambazo zinatosha magari kupita, maegesho ya magari na vitu kama hizo, Mr. Speaker. Na nikimalizia, Mr. Speaker, ni kwamba kamati zinazohusika zinafaa tunapomalizia hapa waweze kwenda kukaa chini, kuvalia njuga jambo hili na kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ambayo tumeongea hapa tukiwa Busia, wananchi watakuja kuyaona matunda, kwa sababu tukiachia mahali ambapo tumefikisha, tutakuwa tu ni kuongea tumeongea, ni kusafiri tumesafiri, kutembea tumetembea, lakini wananchi wataachwa tu bado na tambo ambayo wako nayo siku ya leo. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mulgo Julius.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also air my views along with those of my colleagues. It is true that borders such as Busia and Malaba and Namanga and the others are points that need cooperation from neighboring countries such as Uganda, Tanzania, and the others. And so I was talking to the police chief here yesterday, and he said that some of the times the clocking of trucks that stay here for a day or two are contributed by the two countries. Sometimes the Ugandan side slows down, and therefore making this side not be able to clear and let trucks cross to the other side. And therefore, the two countries need to really work together close by, so that the managers or the responsible people on either side work together very much, so that there is a daily communication as to what is happening, so that clearances are in knowledge of both sides. Because without cooperation and all that, we incur a lot of losses. And one of the losses that we incur is time, because the number of hours that truck drivers and those people that they are helpers spend on such borders are very many hours, and therefore losing time, and loss of time means loss of even the probably money that they have to spend. So staying longer means those drivers will not have money to spend on the way and be able to reach their destination and back. And then also the losses of or risk of goods going bad, like if they are carrying tomatoes and other agricultural products, they will rot on the way before they reach their market, and therefore that is a lot of loss. And so there is need to really speed up so that such occurrences are not experienced. And then time delay of delivery of these things means they will not reach their market. And therefore, the people, the owners of the trucks and owners of the goods will experience a lot of losses because the goods have not reached their destination on time. And then also congestion in such a place such as Busia runs a risk of health hazards and situations because there are no toilets and so on, like many of my colleagues have said. And therefore, I urge the two committees riding along what Professor Kamar has said to visit Namanga and have time with the responsible CSS so that our talk here and our time here and our findings will not be just talks for the sake of it, but that change will be experienced because action will be taken. Thank you. I am in support.
Chair Trent, Senator Jumbo.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza natoa shukurani kwa majority leader kuleta huu mswada hapa. Pili, nataka nitoe shukurani zangu za dhati kwa kamati yangu ya trade ambayo jana tulienda Malaba. Natoa shukurani zangu za dhati kwa wanakamati wangu, Senator Mbugwa, Senator Mandago, Senator Mungatana ambao tulikuwa nayo, Senator Thabita, kwamba mlitupa umoja tukaenda mpaka Malaba. Mheshimiwa Spika, kusema la kweli yale ambayo tuliyaona kule Malaba kama maseneta wenzangu walizungumza ni ya kweli kabisa. Kiangalia kuhusu barabara kweli, kuhusu magari kuchelewa kuvuka katika mipaka ni kweli, kuhusu habari ya utendaji wa kazi wa maofisa wa KRA na wenzao ni kweli. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, yangu mimi sitakusema mengi sana kwa sababu yale ambayo yamezungumzwa na maseneta mimi naunga mkono kabisa na haya. Pili, napenda kutoa shukrani yangu pia dhati kwa siku ya leo maseneta ambao tuliungana tukaenda Busia border. Natoa shukrani zenu kwa dhati sana kwa sababu mmeamka mapema tukaandamana tukaenda pamoja na maguu paka border, tumeyaona ya Busia na yale ambayo yamezungumzwa Mheshimiwa Spika yote ni ya kweli kabisa. Ukiangalia choo ni kweli, choo kiko pale, kuna mtu ambaye anachukua hiyo pesa na choo venyewe havirekebishwi. Ukiangalia habari ya parking za mabarabara haya yaliyozungumzwa na maseneta ni ya kweli. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hapa la kufanywa kabisa kama sisi wanakamati au maseneta, haswa mimi kama mwenyekiti wa hii kamati, kwanza nataka ni tufanye joint kamati pamoja na interrogation committee tuweze kumuita Commissioner General wa KRA kwanza aje pale katika kamati tumuhoji haya maswali. Hawa watu wa Kendra barabara tuwaite waje tuelezee ukweli barabara shida ni nini, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika ukiangalia pesa zilipewana siku nyingi, contractor ambao alipewa contractor sio hakumaliza hiyo kazi, usini ufisadi Mheshimiwa Spika. Kweli magari yanakaa hapa kuanzia asubuhi mpaka jioni kwa sababu gani? Na ukisikia kama jana Mheshimiwa Spika, kama wewe Mheshimiwa Spika ungelikuwa wewe mwenyewe pale ungesikitika. Hii kamati jana ilipeana fursa kwa wananchi. Tuliuliza kama kuna mtu yoyote ambaye katika sector transport atuelezee shida ni nini. Mheshimiwa Spika utalia. Wanatuambia kwamba magari yakienda Uganda huko kuna roadblock karibu 10. Hapa na hapa roadblock Mheshimiwa Spika. Hapa na roadblock Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wa clearing wanalia, wanasema ukaguzi wa makaratasi process zake karibu 7. Wewe Mheshimiwa Spika, si biashara zitatukimbia. Jana tunauliza kuna mtu mmoja wa veterinary. anaulizwa, wewe mtu wa veterinary, wewe unaleta shida katika boda ya Malaba. Anaulizwa, kwa nini inachukua muda mtu kupata kibali cha veterinary? Anasema mimi mpaka nipeleke makaratasi maombi Nairobi. Nairobi for what reason, Mheshimiwa Spika? Sisi tunaomba kama kamati na maseneta wenzetu, sisi lazima tukae kidete. Hii mambo ya kuambiwa sijui barabara sijui nini, hii Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama maseneta hatutakubali. Na hii kamati yetu ya trade na hii nyingine tutahakikisha kwamba hawa wawaziri, hatuogopi Mheshimiwa Spika. Waziri wa fedha ataitwa pia aulizwe, hizo pesa nazokusanya katika nchi ni jambo gani zinafanya hizi boda zetu zipate shida? Why? Waswahili wanasema kwa nini, wazungu wanasema why, kwa nini? Kwa nini hizi boda zina shida? Mheshimiwa Spika, ni aibu. Leo utakuta magari yamejaa hapa kuanzia hapa mpaka kule. Leo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nawashukuru sana maseneta ambao wamerauka leo asubuhi. Tumetembea na maguu, hatukuwa na magari yetu. Ni kweli si kweli? Tumetembea mpaka na magari yameanzia hapa Mheshimiwa Spika. Tukiuliza ambao sijui scanning, sijui kamera, sijui photocopy. Mheshimiwa Spika, haya mambo yatakwisha lini Kenya? Kwa hivyo mimi sitakuzungumza mengi Mheshimiwa Spika. Yangu nimeona makamati, na washukuru sana ambao tumetamana leo na jana tumeenda, na tutakaa chena pamoja tuwaite hao watuelezee shida ni nini Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa haya machache naunga mkono sana majority leader kuleta hii motion. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Thank you very much.
Asante mwenyekiti. Mwenyekiti wa kamati ya biashara, umeongea vizuri, lakini kitu moja uliongea uongo. Ukasema mimi nikisikiza wale nitalia. Kusema ukweli, wazee wa Njuri Ncheke hawalii, hawezi kulia, sababu hao ni wanatuliza wale wanalia. Unawashika vizuri ndio waache kulia. Senator Consolata, we have some minutes for maybe 2-3. You can share the time, the three of you, Senator Consolata, Senator Mofaya, and Senator Kavindu. You can share those 10 minutes and 3 minutes each.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute towards this motion by the Leader of Majority, Senator Aaron Cheriot. I happened to pay my maiden visit under the Committee of National Cohesion yesterday, and I want to concur with the rest of the speakers that there are a lot of challenges at the border, and I think this applies to all the borders. What I would like to contribute maybe is a concern about sanitation, security, and the goodwill of our fathers of state, or rather the heads of state of the member countries, that there's need to foster economic diplomacy so as to harness bilateral ties amongst these countries. There is a lot at the borders that is happening, and in my perspective, I feel whatever challenges that are experienced at Busia border are the same challenges at Namanga and other border posts in Kenya. So there is need for our leaders, including the governors, the county assemblies, through the Constitution of Kenya. I know there are those articles that envisage the purpose of public participation, and I think it is done at the parliament, at the county assemblies, and even at the counties during. Speaker, I beg for your protection.
Is harassing you, Senator Consolata? More fire or Senator Muranga?
Thank you, Bwana Speaker. That is baptism by fire. I take it positively. So I was deliberating much on the issues that are surrounding our border posts. But we tend to have a lot in written, but the implementation bit is a little bit tricky. So I would like to urge our leaders maybe to pull the wider spectrum of all the economic tools that we have in our countries so that we are able to realize this. Otherwise, it will remain as a status quo in not implementing whatever we discuss. And therefore, this powerful house demands that we focus so much on implementation, by pushing the relevant ministries or the relevant authorities to make it happen. I was at the border, and let me not quote what the first senator talked of, trying to cry. I'll not cry. A woman will always remain strong. She has the tenacity as a key leadership tool to overcome the challenges. And I also discovered one thing, because we met 24 sector leaders, and I tend to believe that the outcomes given were sector related, and therefore we need to compile them, consolidate them, and maybe have a wrap-up of the common aspects that cut across those departments. However, I also realized one thing, that the KRA department needs to embrace the AGPO directive, that is by giving tenders to the youths, to the women and people with disabilities. That is embracing DACPO, WACPO, and YAGPO. YAGPO means youth access to government opportunities. WACPO is women access to government opportunities. And DACPO is disability access to government opportunities. Mr. Speaker, I want to finish by saying that all borders are permeable, or rather pervious. So there's need for us to look for ways of actually implementing what we are supposed to do. On occupational health, I have a lot to talk about, because sport health is pathetic, and most of those officers are faced with a lot of challenges. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Kavilu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. But let me first of all start by thanking the people of Busia for us to be here. And Mr. Speaker, I raised to support this motion, which is meant to address the systematic challenges facing the Busia-Malaba border. And Mr. Speaker, I've listened to every senator who has risen to speak, and we are all talking about implementation, Mr. Speaker. The committees that are concerned, I pray that even as they call the people concerned, that they will also involve the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for coordination with the bordering countries that we are sharing the borders with, for smooth passage by the trucks. Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the Senate leadership, led by our Speaker and Majority Leader and every other leader, to sit and see how all the motions and even statements that we do at the Senate, including this one we are discussing here, will be implemented. Because we sit down, we discuss a lot of motions, we discuss a lot of statements, and even, and Mr. Speaker, implementation becomes an issue. I've heard people talk about coming here even before and discussing the same issues, but the same issues we are discussing now. Mr. Speaker, the biggest issue is to implement what we discuss at the Senate. And if we can have a committee of implementation at the Senate that will follow up all the motions that we discuss at the Senate and the statements, then that will make us move forward and not repeat the same issues. And Mr. Speaker, now we are at the Busia now, and we are discussing the issues of Busia. Mr. Speaker, I pray that this will be implemented so that the Busia people will see the work that we have done while in Busia now. Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the committee of implementation will be set at the Senate so that the issues can be done, and that the people, the honorable people of Busia, will see all the issues that they've raised at this Senate being implemented. I thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mine is to insist on implementation of all the issues that we've discussed at the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, in view of the interest that the motion has generated, and noting that we travel to Busia to see how we can deliberate on no issues and sort out the issues in this county, I will use the powers conferred to me by standing under that 4-2A to extend this sitting for another 15 minutes so that we can conclude this business. Senator Mofai.
Capturing my Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to support this motion. This motion has generated a lot of interest. Honorable Speaker, it's unfortunate that we are discussing this motion in 2025. This motion should have been brought in 1970s. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the way we operate as the East African community, there is a lot of confusion. I've captured the sentiments of the Chair Trade and every other senator who has contributed to this motion on the need to have a smooth operations along our border. No, Honorable Speaker, the only way these countries, I think we have been to all over the world, where we don't have some of these stringent measures, where many people would find it very, 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 very impossible even to trade. It's very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that trucks would pile all the way, almost like a kilometer. There's a lot of confusion along the border. I think at the time, Honorable Speaker, the concerned committee should move with the speed, invite all the relevant stakeholders so that this matter can be discussed deeply, and we make sure that this motion does not find itself in the archives, just like so many other motions that have been processed through this House. Let's move with a lot of speed and make sure that whatever we discuss here, Honorable Speaker, today in Busia, it is something that is...
Sorry, Senator Mofai, I kindly request the senators to remain around so that we can put the question after the mover replies. Kindly.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The committees that are concerned, Honorable Speaker, should engage all the stakeholders so that this matter can be addressed once and for all. It's long overdue, and it's a matter, Honorable Speaker, that should be processed for the benefit of the East African community. It's very sad, Honorable Speaker, up to now. We are talking about border issues. We are supposed to have a very free system where people can move in freely without delay, without any hiccups, so that maybe we boost the economy of the three countries. Honorable Speaker, it's important that this motion has been brought, and I hope the Committee on Trade, the Committee on Transport, the Committee on Devolution, the Committee on Cohesion should put their minds together and bring all the stakeholders that are concerned to make sure that we solve these perennial problems that are affecting our border points. So thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Now, Honorable Senators, we have come to the end of the debate, and therefore I'll call the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank colleagues who've taken time to speak to this very consequential motion, consequential in the sense that it speaks to the heart of the people of Busia, to the hearts of the people of East Africa. Mr. Speaker, the senators have expressed themselves in one clarion call that things ought to be better, that we cannot accept this. But like they say, Mr. Speaker, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. You serve in these committees, senators. You serve in the Committee of Trade, you serve in the Committee of Cohesion, you serve in the Committee of Transport. The only way the people of Busia will know that you mean business is not by the flowery language that you have used on the floor of this Busia County Assembly chambers this morning, but by the very actions that you will undertake once we depart from Busia. If, and I must say if, because I'm cautiously optimistic, Mr. Speaker, the members of this House choose to actually follow through with the reports and the proposals that will come Mr. Speaker, from the two committees and the Committee of Transport as well, so that it can be remembered 1 or 2 years down the line, that at least Senate added its voice and ensured that things got better after the visit of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya to these two border stops, Mr. Speaker, then eventually we will say that it was worth the while. I'm sure the people of this county will appreciate, and the people of East Africa in general will feel proud of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. I had mentioned earlier in the morning, Mr. Speaker, that even as we proceed to East African Legislative Assembly Games, Mr. Speaker, it presents us with a perfect opportunity to engage on this topic. I remember from the very first time when I attended the Yala Games around 2015, Mr. Speaker, one of the member states' parties during the closing dinner actually spoke very passionate about the desire of that association to be just beyond the call of sports and to respond to the issues that bedevil our community, Mr. Speaker. That it can be known that beyond playing netball, basketball, football, athletics, and the things that we do in Yala, we're able to speak to each other as leaders and say, this cannot be the case. We must replicate, for example, Mr. Speaker, and in a very fast move, actually, Mr. Speaker, I'll be proposing to the Committee of Transport, to the Committee of Trade, to the Committee of National Cohesion to pass one of the recommendations in the report that eventually, when we pass it, we share the same with the counterpart houses, Mr. Speaker, in the neighboring county of Uganda, so that our colleagues from that part of the world also can appreciate that they need to address this challenge. Because unfortunately, even if you address the backlog on the Kenyan side, but it is not addressed on the counterpart side of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, we'll still find ourselves in the same spot. You'll move very quickly out of Kenya to get into another situation with the Ugandan authorities. And this includes many things that the transporters have raised, including the incessant stops and demands for bribes, Mr. Speaker, by police officers, and this is from all the way. Mr. Speaker, you have to sympathize with these transporters. Imagine a transporter who has to move cargo from Nairobi to north of Uganda, or even to Kampala, Mr. Speaker. They have to battle their way through almost 100 police stops. That doesn't make sense in this day and age. Even if it is security, even if it is whatever reason, Mr. Speaker, that you're trying to put it, there are more better ways that other countries have been able to deal with this challenge, Mr. Speaker. You either bond the company, you bond the drivers, Mr. Speaker, so that people respect the rule of law. The unfortunate thing, Mr. Speaker, is that we are also not very compliant as Africans in respecting the rule of law. And the only way to make a thick African head respect rules, Mr. Speaker, is that you must punish. People must see that there is punishment each time they break the law. What other countries do, Mr. Speaker, is that if as a transport company your driver overloads, Mr. Speaker, it's already set out what the punishment will be. And that company will receive an instant fine. That fine will be graduated. If it is a second time, if it is a third time, it's even higher. If you delay in paying, Mr. Speaker, you lose your license. So everybody knows and they play by the rules. They know that if the total weight load of a particular road, Mr. Speaker, is 22 tons, that's what they will observe, Mr. Speaker. That will remove all these stoppages and bridges, very archaic ways of doing things, Mr. Speaker. You'll never see this kind of weighbridge and toll bridges in other parts of the world, Mr. Speaker, because people have learned to be decent. People have learned to behave like sane human beings, Mr. Speaker. These silly games that we play with each other, Mr. Speaker, and people all try to do this or the other, you know, many times, even at our own personal level, Mr. Speaker, whenever, because you understand the African culture, whenever somebody calls me and they make a request and say, oh, Senator, you know, my lorry has been arrested by these Kenya people. So you ask what was the issue? You know, the driver did this. I say, okay, I'll look into it. I never move it beyond that particular point, Mr. Speaker, because what kind of behavior is that you're encouraging? If you have not trained your drivers to respect the rule of law, Mr. Speaker, you're spoiling our roads. Tomorrow, you'll find all those, the potholes that people are complaining from this Busia to, from Kisumu to Busia Road, for example, Mr. Speaker, is on account of that kind of behavior, overloading our roads, Mr. Speaker, and so many other behaviors that don't make sense. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I hope that with this conversation that we have begun here, we can have a counterpart discussion with our colleagues from the sister legislative arm of the Parliament of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, so that we entrench that which has already been agreed. We are not reinventing anything. These are things that are known. These are things that have been done across the world, Mr. Speaker, on how to manage inter-border transfer of goods and services, Mr. Speaker, and making them seamless. What is happening in this Busia and Namanga border post cannot be allowed to pertain beyond what it currently is, Mr. Speaker, without making a final decision. These meetings, interministerial meetings that we keep on having every now and then, of course, Mr. Speaker, we will never get to a point where we will say we have concluded on these issues. I believe even at the European Union Parliament in Brussels, Mr. Speaker, many times they're always there pushing and haggling about these issues on labor, migration, whatever. As neighbors, Mr. Speaker, there will always be new things that will emerge, and there'll be a reason for people to meet, caucus, and try to agree. But of important nature to this conversation, Mr. Speaker, is that people can see the progress and can see that things are getting better. Let's meet and talk about more serious things about the East African community integration, Mr. Speaker, but not about how to make trucks move faster on a border post. There are more deeper things that we can share, Mr. Speaker, about setting up industries with advantages from both sides of the country. What is it that makes sense to do in Kenya, and therefore we handle? What is it that will make sense to do in Uganda, Mr. Speaker? Because Uganda is one of our friendliest neighbors, Mr. Speaker, and one of the countries that we get along so easily, better than almost all other East African community partners, states, Mr. Speaker. And we resolve our issues fairly amicably, Mr. Speaker. And it's my wish that we can resolve this matter with the quickest speed that is possible. So, Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I register my appreciation to the members that have spoken on this particular topic, and I hope that we can be able to conclude. But like I have observed, Chairman, Transport Committee, Chairperson, what is this other committee, Mr. Speaker? Trade and Cohesion. The people of Busia are waiting to see you match your words with your actions by bringing a report to this House that will follow with implementation, send it to our counterpart legislative arm in the Parliament of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, and insist on full implementation of all the agreed EAC protocols. With all those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to register my appreciation. I beg to reply.
Thank you, Clerk. Can you ascertain quorum? Whether you have 15? Sorry? So, Honorable Senators, I put the question that aware that the existing policy frameworks, including the East Africa Community Customs Management Act, the EAC Common Market Protocol, and Kenya's National Trade Policy, advocate for the simplification and harmonization of customs procedures and the elimination of non-tariff barriers. Noting that the Busia and the Maraba-Mbunda posts are critical gateways for regional trade, handling a significant portion of Kenya's commerce with Uganda and other East African community partner states. Thus, the efficient operation of border posts is critical for national revenue collection, trade facilitation, and the economic well-being of the public, and more so residents of Busia. Further, noting that various challenges continue to impede operations at these borders, particularly at Maraba-Mbunda, such as severe congestion, inadequate human resource, inadequate infrastructure, including narrow roads, and insufficient cargo scanners, and delays in customs processing due to duplication of roads and multiple agency checks. On a market protocol, by impeding the smooth flow of goods, creating an unlevel playing field for Kenyan business. A market protocol, an unlevel playing field for Kenyan businesses, and hindering regional economic integration. thereby resulting in loss of potential revenue, business opportunities, and economic vitality for Kenya. Cognizant that urgent and decisive intervention is required to streamline operations, modernize infrastructure, and harmonize policies to restore Kenya's competitive edge and fully realize Kenya's competitive edge and fully realize the benefits of the East African community. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that the National Treasury, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Minister of East African Community, EAC, the Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, in collaboration with the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya National Highways Authority, to develop and present a comprehensive action plan within 90 days to address the infrastructure and operational bottlenecks at the Busia and Ibaraba Mbonda posts. Two, Kenya and the KRA to fast-track the expansion of access zones, increase the number of functional cargo scanners, and establish dedicated clearance lanes for perishable goods and transit cargo to decongest the border points. 3, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Minister of East African Community, the Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, to intensify bilateral at EAC level engagements with the counterparty ministry to ensure full harmonization and the realization of the one border post OSBP concept. And 4, the Ministry of Roads and Transport and the Kenya National Highways Authority to prioritize and fast-track the completion of the supporting road and the rail infrastructure, such as the dualling of the highway from Maraba to the interior, to ensure that gains at the border are not lost to domestic